Welcome to Daily Focus, and trust you're off to a great day. Mine has been a different night as I was up almost every hour checking the creek as the storm rolled in and continued to rain through the night and or early morning, whatever you want to call it. And then it did get all the way into my backyard, which typically once it gets into the backyard, it's not long and it's pouring and trying to pour into my house. And the Lord graciously stopped it in the backyard at this point, anyway. And so I've been spending the entire morning putting up all my blockades and sandbags and all the good stuff just in case it wants to rain some more. And but we wanted to spend a little bit of time with you on a verse that is probably one of the best parenting verses in all of the Bible. And I have entitled this "Nothing Wrong with Being Sheltered." Um, we sometimes say, "Oh, they live such a sheltered life," as if that was a negative, bad thing. Oh, they're so innocent, as if that's a bad thing. And really, for keeping your children sheltered and educating them in what is good, rather than exposing them to what is bad and making them streetwise or whatever you want to call that, is actually unbiblical. You ought to keep them innocent. You ought to just teach them what is right. And so, verse number 19. So, right after warning the church to mark people who are divisive, who have an agenda, who speak evil of other people, he says in verse 19, "For your obedience is come abroad unto all men. I am glad, therefore, on your behalf. But yet I would have you wise unto that which is good, and simple concerning evil." That word simple is the Greek word for ignorant. God says, I would rather you be wise and learn what is right, to learn what is good and moral. And I would just assume you be ignorant of that which is evil, ignorant of that which is wrong or bad or immoral. And unfortunately, we live in a culture today where our young people and even our own lives are bombarded everywhere we look with educating people about that which is evil, that which is wrong. There is a constant bombardment, but sometimes we think the only way to prepare people for life is to educate them on some of this evil stuff, to educate them on that which is wrong. But that's just not true. God says it just the opposite. And the Roman church had it right. And he said, your obedience in this area has come abroad and it is known of all men. And that is that you are wise concerning that which is good and simple or ignorant concerning that which is evil. God is teaching us an amazing parenting principle, but really a principle for life. Whenever I would take groups to Washington, D.C., we would go through the Bureau of where they make the money. I can't think of the name of it. Something in engraving, but anyway, where they print money. And so you would be able to stand up there and you'd look down and there was this conveyor belt and there would be big sheets of money and it would go by this guy and this gal and this guy and this gal and they would be looking, and every once in a while you'd see them reach, pull the sheet of money off and send it through the shredder and then mark down and whatever they do. And then if it made it all the way through, get to the end, they'd cut it all up. It would be stacked, and the bills would be ready for use. And so as he would be telling all of the story about, the history of it and, how the building came about and how much money is being printed and all these types of things, he would say, is there any questions? I would always ask this question, even though after the first time I asked it, I knew the answer, but I felt like it was important for everyone, especially in my group, to hear. And I would ask this question: those people sitting there looking at the money, how are they trained? And he would say, well, they are trained to know every nuance of what that bill looks like. They have to know every detail of what a proper and right bill looks like. And so they're so familiar with what it's supposed to look like that any ink blot or anything that's out of the normal stands out to them, and they simply pull it off and shred it and mark it. And I would always have a follow up and say, well, do you teach them some of the common things to look for that can go wrong? He says no. They will know everything that is not right because they're so familiar with what it's supposed to look like. And I think to myself, wow, what an amazing parenting principle. What a great way to live if we could just saturate ourselves with the truth of God's word, with a right understanding of God's character, a right understanding of his program. And we would be so familiar with what is right that the stuff that is wrong would just stand out, and we'd take it out of our lives and shred it. What a wonderful way to live. We do not have to educate our children on all of the bad things that they have to be aware of in the world. Really, that approach simply creates a curiosity within their depraved nature that sometimes leads them astray. And so God gives us a great principle. You know what? Just study what is right, and everything that is wrong will stand out. I hope you have a great day today. I'll